Hello, welcome to Let's Be Now. I'm Sharon, my son Noah, Melissa, and we have several special guests today.
Yes, welcome all of our guests for being here and being with us in this place of the now. So we wanted to answer questions, just have some spiritual talk. This is what it's about, building our hive, building our community, and answering whatever questions you have, honoring your space. If you have stories or you have messages that you want to get through, as I said, the questions and answers, we're going to be asking and talking about that today also. So just keep your stuff on mute. If you guys have something to say, feel free to chime in. Maybe just put the chat on and then we'll bring it to you so everybody's not talking over each other. But yes, it's going to be an integrated podcast. So we have Caitlin, we have Anna, Laura, and Chantel with us today. We're going to start with Laura's question. So Laura, if you can actually unmute, you were the one that brought this to the table. So Laura was talking about mental illness, or we had said something in one of the previous clips that had spoken about how mental illness is not necessarily a disability. It could be an ability if you want to use it that way. Laura, you're there? If you want to hit your mic, there we go. We got Laura. Laura, so talk to me about your question and let's get that answered for you.
It was one of the, I think it was the second podcast. You said something about you believe that mental illness was an ability and not an illness. I've got, well, me and both of my daughters, we're all very we have abilities. I've always known I've had them, but I've also been depressed a lot of my life. And my one daughter has, what do you call it? She's bipolar, and one of them has, I can't think of what it's called. Well, anyway, the one daughter, she knows she has abilities, but she doesn't use them. She ignores them. And the other one doesn't, she totally denies that she has them. And they're both suffering from it, I think.
Okay, so I can kind of speak on that. I have 4 siblings that I have bipolar, schizophrenic, one's bipolar, schizophrenic, Tourette's actually. And what was really interesting being a seer and seeing them was that whenever I see somebody with bipolar or my family members, whoever it is, it's as though their DNA is actually bound to an angel and a demon. And it was the goodness that they had brought from other lives and the bad that they had brought, but it was so overwhelmingly powerful with their emotions or whatever it is that they went through, or maybe they were sent through the heavens and the hells. I'm not exactly sure what the dynamic is because they haven't been able to find that core of bipolar yet, but I have been able to get down to what I see as the DNA or the source coding, the algorithms behind a computer, is that they are a trinity. So they have an angel, a demon, and then a human that are all bound. There's nothing any healer can do to change that, to do anything with. And actually in pictures, if you see people with bipolar, and I'll post some later too on the Let's Be Now page so you guys see what I'm talking about. But in one of the pictures, specifically with my brother, you'll see that he was in line with himself this day, and on half of his side was a dark shadow and the other was a light shadow, and those would be the good and bad energy or the angel and demon, however you see that. I've also seen it in dragons where somebody has a white dragon and somebody has a black dragon, but it is an actual thing that is in their genetic coding that is them. So this is why they go into that mania, that darker spot, that they would say depression, that's when like that demon side is almost coming and possessing them and taking them over. So they're weak at that point because they're trying to fight. And then we also have the angelic. So a lot of times they'll be really excited and really happy and want to help people. And my brother, one brother especially, was always into what would Jesus do, or I'll kill you. And then there was Danny, who who just loved everyone but got kind of upset like a regular person. So when we're looking at the dynamics of bipolar, it is sharing a body with two other beings other than yourself. In saying that, they also have the ability to get messages from either side, to listen to that angelic side and get the knowledge, but also have that demonic side. With that, they're great exorcists. There's somebody who can perform massive healings because they can bring in either side. They can bring in that angelic side, they can bring in that demonic side that hides them. And when they go into that den, they can go into that demon den because they can go in as a demonic being, so they can't hear them. So we do the exorcism and then we turn into that angelic side, and then boom. So they're great for exorcisms. When we talk about like, and lots of people too, you're talking about people, denying themselves. Well, if they don't know how to use it, it's uncomfortable. It's a fight for their body. They don't know who they are. They don't know how to fight it. They don't even know where to start. So empowering them with their mental illness is going to be best too. Schizophrenia, that's a lot of people talking to spirits. Most of the people with schizophrenia are natural mediums. If we embrace that, we would be able to have multiple mediums. I mean, and great mediums here. They also can hear ghost energies. So ghost energy is an energy that is our emotions that were heavy emotions. Lots of people say they're negative, but they're actually heavy. The anger, the sadness, shame, guilt, pride, those kind of things that ego that they held on to in this life is not accepted into the spirit life. But it also wasn't necessarily bad enough that they have to go into the hells or the underworld, whatever that is. So they're stuck here on earth, but they don't have a body. And so their emotions just right out on earth. People with schizophrenia can actually help counsel these ghosts and help them move on so that we are not overlapping our energy. I mean, this energy right now, it's spirit on spirit and ghosts on ghosts and people on people and animals. I mean, it's just so compact, and that's why there's so much confusion and mandala going on right now. When we look into depression and anxiety, those are people hyper aware of what's going on in the world right now. They're the empaths. They're the one feeling what is going on, and they won't have relief until they learn how to relieve themselves, but also help others. Those are natural counselors. They've been through the hells and back, and they're ready to speak and they're ready to talk. Mental illness is not necessarily an illness unless you allow it to disabilitate you. Otherwise, when you learn your tools, look at Noah and great example. Autism is considered a mental illness. And I can tell you that we have several people saying how much healing and how many messages are coming through. If we embrace the fact that they can go into universal atmospheres and that they know not only light language, but a frequency language that is unspoken through mass, not a lot of people get it. Imagine the information that we would be able to get if we saw them as seers. And the thing is that of course they're going to say it was crazy. Now, back in the day, in the biblical times, the seers or even the kings, they had people with mental illnesses. They were the seers. They were the ones that they talked to. They were the ones embraced, but they never lied. They never lied, and they wouldn't lie for the kings, and they wouldn't lie for the people. And so they shut them down and started saying they're crazy, they're crazy, they're crazy. Look at natives. Holy cow, think of America and the way that we could be right now if we allowed the natives to do what they needed to do. But we oppressed them. We said that their language was demonic. We said that it was wrong. The ones in powers don't want the truth. So they're going to make you think that you're sick in the head. And I know, I've been there. Noah's been there. Sharon's been there. I'm sure all of you on here have been there. They're going to tell you you're crazy because you don't fit their spectrum of control. And now, Noah, I know you have something, and I want all of you guys to chime in, or anyone that, wants to chime in, go ahead and say what you have to say. And I think we're going to go back to Laura too, but Noah was typing today on his letterboard. So what do you have to say there?
And Noah said that he's connecting with that family. You could see him on the video. For those of you that can see the video, you could see that he was connecting. And he said that he sent some energy, and he says they should be feeling it, and it should be easier for them to connect. And I always tell people I get the Cliff Notes version on the letterboard. So, Melissa and Caitlin, if you're getting a different message or a more expanded message from Noah, feel free. Oh.
Laura, do you have any further questions on that? Or did that answer it pretty well for you?
It answered a lot of things. Yeah, I know that I've been having a lot of ups and downs lately. Like something will grab hold of my emotions, and I don't think it's really me, but it takes me a long time to get back to feeling like myself again. I'm not sure what it's all about.
Well, one thing right now that's going through the world is that we have so many people saying this is the correct frequency for your heart. This is the food that you should eat. This is not the food you should eat. This is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. Everything in life right now, as it is set, is such an extreme, from one low frequency to one high frequency to several spectrums of light and opinions and everything. The people right now that are empaths or that are hypersensitive to other, this is natural. So even us healers are going through that. I know I've been fighting my health and stuff like that, and I was on the up and then just went down this weekend, and now I'm hoping to go back on up. It is because we're going with the waves and the different frequencies of the world, and we're not harmonizing correctly. And what I mean by that is science has already proven if you take a tuning fork and you take another tuning fork, so let's take a high pitch one and a low pitch one, right? And I put the high pitch one and I hit that low pitch. Let's say that it is one's resonating at 1,000 megahertz and one's resonating at 300 megahertz. That 300 doesn't move that 1,000. And what it does is it actually causes that 300, once it hits that 1,000 and the 1,000 is not listening, it causes it to go off tune. Unless you have a 1,000 megahertz tuning fork and another 1,000 megahertz tuning fork, when you hit one, that other 1,000 will vibrate, and it'll vibrate nicely. So both of them have to be equal for them to vibrate nicely and not change the tone or not change the pitch. Well, because we have so many opinions and so many things going on right now, we're not harmonizing with each other. We're fighting against each other and causing pitches that aren't necessarily within ourselves, or causing frequencies not within ourselves. So what you're going through right now, I mean, everyone's going through. And if you guys can take your mics off, Caitlin and Chantal, Anna, you guys want to talk about all of this? And what are you guys feeling right now?
Well, when you said that the higher pitched tuning fork will stay at its higher pitch, because I have a little issue in my household. We now have full custody of my partner's son, and he vibrates at a very different frequency than the rest of us in this household does. And this sounds horrible, but he's only 9 years old, but he affects my frequency so much. He is so different than us. It really changes the way I think and act. And I'm a spiritual leader in my community. You know, I am a spiritual mentor to many people in this town. And for me to be so affected by this kid, and just being around him, my frequency changes. And it's not just me, it's, everybody else in the household too. But he was raised by a woman who doesn't believe in God. We believe she's afflicted with a demon, and she's now had custody taken away from her. That's why we had this kid. But yeah, it's the weirdest thing that this little kid can affect the entire energy of this entire household. So back to that tuning fork thing, like if I'm vibrating at this high frequency all the time and doing all my shadow work and all the typical stuff we're supposed to be doing as spiritual people, how is it that this kid's frequency is able to affect this entire household?
Okay, so when you're speaking that the child came in and had just come from this trauma with the mother, and you believe that the mother does have that darkness, that dark energy, I first want to say that we are primarily who we're around and what we are. And, this goes back, and you guys are going to hear this 1,000 times over because science says it. 3% of our DNA is ours, 97% is the rest. You're probably dealing not only with, somebody's loud in the background. I'm not sure who, but let's see. But anyways, so if somebody is living with somebody who has a demonic presence and that they go into somebody else's house, somebody else might be able to feel that. Also, if he has been in a low vibrational field and is in the shame and guilt and anger and sadness, here we go again, he's probably resonating at most highest. And now I'm talking outside of the body. Inside would be a lower because it's more confined. But if we did outside of the body, about 3 feet around, that energetic field might go to 500 megahertz. On your spirit work, when you're at 1,000 and you're doing spirit work, the thing about spirit workers is they always want to harmonize. So if he's sitting at 500 and you're sitting at 1,000, you'll actually gift 250 particles or hertz or whatever. I should say hertz, not particles. Sorry, guys. Wrong. Science, don't hate me for that one. But you are giving the particle, you are switching your actual particles. It is a quantum mechanics thing that you not only are giving your frequencies, but you are indeed giving your particles at the same time. Because in order for him to understand you, you actually have to gift those particles of you, and you have to take on particles of him, and then you have to resonate at the frequencies together. So you're giving your particles, but you're also giving 250 megahertz to him. He rises up 250, you feel 250 more drained, because energy will always want to find its equalness. So what I would say is bells, singing bowls that you all sit and do together, that you're harmonizing, or even just turn on a song that all of you like together and sit together, because music is going to be your greatest tool right now, because it is a frequency thing. So get you all on that same frequency, and your house will start to feel better. And do this daily for 10 days. You will see a significant change.
That's a really good answer. That makes complete sense, because we've been trying to pray it away. We've been trying to, light candles and pray at our altar and praying to God and trying to fix things inside of us. Why are we responding this way? This is not how parents, all of these things. But yeah, that makes a little bit more sense if we're trying to harmonize all together. So I appreciate that answer. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and also, if he's not a believer in God, the word prayer or things that maybe are crosses or something actually make the person more aggressive. So maybe use a different word. You can use, let's just sit and ask the universe, or say universe instead of God. And know that it's the same thing, as an energy worker, God's everything. But switch that up, because there is something, and it's called the DMAT2 gene. So D and then MAT2 gene. And it's an actual gene within the person's head that resonates with God. If they resonate with God, this gene will send hormonal flashes of oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, melatonin through the body to make a person feel good. However, if the person is a non-believer in God and they hear the word God or prayer or cross, and that DMAT2 will actually react and it will deplete their body of those different of the oxytocin, serotonin, and so they'll feel worse. So knowing, sometimes there is science behind that, and just looking into that, maybe change some verbiage so that they understand a little better. And Caitlin and Noah have something to say too, so. What message did he give you, Sharon? I saw him typing.
Okay, I thought maybe Caitlin was going to. Yeah, I had a bunch of them, but the one, it triggered thoughts for me too. So I was trying to write this mom in Cincinnati because there's a mom that has a son that just lives on this lower vibrational level. When I first met him, it was like, I don't know, almost a year ago at one of the shows. Well, not at the show, it was outside one of the shows, because he would kick, he would hit. And if you said stop or if you showed fear, he would kick harder. And so that was just the extreme of that. So then it was at a show in December where Noah had thrown the iPad. Well, that boy had done the same thing. And so that was my trigger, or my hint that, oh, I need to contact the mom. Well, the mom was thinking of us too. And that's when I realized, oh, it's vibration. So then we started looking into that. She's not on right now, but we will get her to join in this conversation. But Noah had said you can change the vibration easily. And for us, it's not always easy. And then when you're living in that, it's not always easy, but there are things to do. And I'm getting the chills now. So he's doing something. So I'm going to need you or Caitlin to jump in and fill in the rest of this. Because, yeah, okay, he's smiling and laughing at me. So.
Okay, so Caitlin, you were just talking about the imbalances and the struggles and stuff that you were going through. Did you want to talk about that?
So I'm outside, it's a little loud, so I'm gonna talk quick. But what came up was that like Noah said, it's easy for us. There's an energetic gap, like you were saying, those frequencies are off, and stepping in and helping people in those gaps. I have found in my experiences, for me personally, is sitting with it, and usually it's coming back to me personally of my shadow work that needs to be addressed, and then loving myself and that in the process. And so how and then how to get people to become aware of that and assist them in those gaps, and when Noah and I were working.
So I know her microphone was kind of going in and out as she said she's outside, but she was wondering, how do we fill those gaps or those spaces, to harmonize better so that it works for, the greater whole is pretty much what I was getting there. Long story short, and you want Noah to answer that. Noah, you want to answer that?
Yes.
Okay. So Noah's typing a message here, and then I think we're going to go into some telepathy, I'm pretty sure. He's been really excited today to speak.
Okay, he says, boy, feel good about shifting the energy. So he can do that. But I know there's going to be more, because people aren't always going to want to depend on Noah to do this. So you have more from Melissa? Yes, he needs you.
Give us a 2 thumbs up. Okay.
Yes.
Can I throw in, so this is going to be, it'll be a little bit of conversating too going on too, because he's just bouncing me all over the place here. So here's his answer. The thing about humans beings is that they like to overthink things, and they don't like to just be in the now, to calm down and ask yourself, what am I actually feeling? And if you can understand, your emotions are most of the time attached to that human body, to the human cells, to the things that are going on in your life, you're going to be stuck there. And you need to put that human side, that human energy down, and try to see yourself from your higher spirit. So you need to rise above that and look at yourself as though you're your own guardian. You're allowing yourself that pain, and you're saying it's okay. And he is saying it in child as not your inner child, but he is showing me height, but like, it's okay, child. Let me help you. Let me speak this through. And so start talking to your higher self. Use that as a counsel. Use it like you're, back in the days of the church confessions kind of thing. But in that moment, be honest with yourself. Because when we think that we're angry, or when we think that other people are angry, when we always get to the bottom of it, it comes to hurt, or it comes to pain, or it comes to something that was really minute. We need to stop thinking about the little things that we don't acknowledge as human beings, that we take on, such as just passing somebody by and feeling like, ooh, that felt weird, and not cleansing our energy, not saying, okay, what's your problem? What's going on with you? Let me send you some energy to help you, rather than even hanging on to their stuff. Because a lot of times, if we're not knowing who we are, then how do we know what energy is bothering us? Because it could be somebody else's energy, or another entity, or another council member, or whatever. It could be another energy that is coming into us, trying to give us information. But because we have not acknowledged, or we haven't seen, or we haven't faced the emotion that we're feeling, and we deny ourselves of that emotion, we're never going to be able to see what that emotion was about. So if you're upset with something that happened in your past, and you're like, I don't want to think about it, I don't want to face it, I'm all over it, like, it's fine, it's done, I forgive them, whatever, but you're truly not, you'll never actually have the closure. You'll never actually listen to yourself, know yourself, heal yourself, because you're always going to override or underride what you're thinking, or the emotions that you're thinking. So you have to come face to face. Caitlin, you had said that shadow work, you have to come face to face with that shadow, the good side and the bad side of you, to acknowledge who you are and what is bothering you. And that is the only way that you're ever going to fix anything. Because if you keep sweeping it under the rug, or keep saying, passing it by, it follows you, and it starts dragging the soul down. Filling the gaps is just changing your thought, changing your perspective, just is shifting your energy somewhere, finding a hobby that you like. There are multiple things that you can do to change your energy. And the number one thing to be able to change your energy, and to know how to do it, is to say, now is the moment that I change. And then to follow that change through. Because if you can't catch it in the moment, you might pass your window of having to deal with it. And this is why things keep looping and looping and looping and looping, because you have to be in that right mindset to be able to understand and grasp the concept of the things that you're feeling, so that you can develop, learn, grow, and allow them to become part of you, part of your inner power, rather than your inner weakness. And once we know that we're powerful, once we find out that we can control our energy and our emotions, and we learn how to get to things, most of the times you'll realize, and he's laughing and saying this, or he's at least really laughing, that I'm going to say 75% of the things that you think is a big deal on earth are not a big deal. And it's really funny to see what people want to hang on to, when it really was never an issue. It just glitched their mind or their emotion in a way that they didn't understand it. And so their first line of defense was anger or sadness or ego, whatever defense mode they had received as a younger child is going to be the first defense that you're going to get every time. So knowing what that defense is, are you somebody who reacts with anger? Are you somebody that reacts with pride? Are you somebody that reacts, you know, with hiding your feelings and putting a smile? Know what that pattern is, and then address that pattern so that you can break that pattern down, and instead think in your head next time something happens, I'm in control rather than I'm angry, because there's a difference. And knowing how to, you might have to help me with whatever word you're trying to say, but whatever
He said,
focus.
yeah, set intention. And actually what he had
Yes.
said, it's funny because I was thinking that, but then it may have been his thoughts in my head. But earlier, the first thing he said was just be in the now, don't stress. So that was, I think, the whole moral of the story, but it was exactly what you said. And then it set those intentions. And those are things that I'm learning because I was all stressed and I was, didn't know what I was going to do. And now it's so much calming when you take away that stress and you just be in the now. But that's something that I would have said it's not easy to do. So I understand this family on, what do you do with this and feelings that aren't necessarily your feelings and where all this is coming from. It's a lot to take in, but if you just take it in, let it happen, that's been very helpful for me. Yes, he says yes. Oh, there's a but. Dear family, too much energy through, is that gonna be the internet? Yes, too much energy through the internet.
Awesome. Welcome, Carol. So we've been talking about mental illness or different frequencies and how they don't vibrate with their body or feel good with us, and different ways that we can change our inner core frequencies or even our light spectrum. And so it's more harmonizing, so we can come to a place of communication with people around us. And we can also, in retrospect, talking about the mental, we can empower people and show them what they can do with their abilities so that it's not disabilities. So you're chiming in. Do you have anything you want to say, Miss Carol?
Can you hear me okay?
Be a little louder.
Let me get a little closer to my mic. How's that?
Hey. Hi, Carol.
Hello. All I would really add to that, and since I missed so much of what you said, you may have already said it, is so important for not just the person who is feeling like they're out of sorts with their mental organization, because I don't like to call it a mental disability, but if their mental organization isn't matching their surroundings or their family's expectations, everybody needs to understand that they have the right and the ability to be themselves.
Well said there. And that's something that people forget a lot. I have to give myself that permission on a daily basis to remind myself to be my authentic, true self. Because when I'm my authentic, true self, I know who I am, and I don't have to hide anything. I don't have to lie about anything. I just am. I'm Melissa all the time. There's not any different characters. It's just this. So when somebody else's energy or an attachment comes in, I feel it drastically, because I am centered in that way with myself. And that's why it's so important for a lot of you, to be centered with yourself, so you know what is yours and what isn't. And then give yourself, I love that, give yourself the permission to be yourself. The world needs you to be yourself, whether you feel broken or ugly or sick or whatever, chances are you're feeling that way because you're not yourself and you haven't fully embraced your inner beauty, your inner abilities in the truest you are or can be. We all came into this world with a mission, with a passion. And when you chase your own mission and passion and you stop chasing others, your world will be so wonderful that even if you have these mental breakdowns or you have problems, you start to see them as gifts and lessons so that you can help others out of their way. And Noah has something else to say here. He was typing with his mom.
Okay, well, we have a guest on Zoom, and she was wondering if it's too much energy for Noah. And I, me as mom, I'm thinking, oh, it's fine. I started typing laugh out loud, and Noah typed, yes, dear, feel Noah later. So I'm like, ugh, I thought he would say no. So yeah, he's being honest when it's too much energy. That's the thing I've questioned about lives that we would be doing like this weekend. We have an event this weekend where I hope to put it on the Let's Be Now Facebook Live. And I'll need some help. Well, Caitlin will be there. So, to help me determine how much is too much energy versus live versus the internet. So that could be a whole nother episode, but I wanted to mention that. But thank you so much for offering that, because I don't always feel that extra energy unless something goes awry. But
Yeah, well, and when we're thinking about the internet too, we are in the present moment having the Zoom, but also Noah is very integrated. And really, as all of us are, that this video is going to reach millions, and all the signals are already going out. So we're doing this over the internet. We're feeling everyone on the internet. We're feeling the internet. We're feeling a lot that are going all around in the world. On top of that, everyone in the future that is going to be watching this will still be integrated with our energy. As and here we go again, in order to see, feel, taste, touch, hear, have any sensation or any acknowledgement of any person or anything, you have to go through the quantum mechanics of actually changing that particle. So we are that thing. So as we get more popular, we're doing more podcasts and have more people, we're going to have to do more deep cleansing, more deep healing and rebalancing of our energy, because it's going to be spread throughout. And this is why Hollywood stars, and this is why people who really get famous or have a lot of followers get so exhausted and so drained and tend to lose their self. And it's because they lose their self in other people's energy, and those people want them to be a specific way. And so they start to gravitate towards what everybody else wants versus what they want. And in essence, start to become everybody else. And we're not going to do that. So we're going to continue to keep ourselves protected. But I mean, this is what he's feeling, is he's feeling the energy of the now and of the future and of the whole spectrum. So it's pretty intense. Oh, did we lose Sharon and Noah? I think we lost them. Well, we still have Miss Carol and Laura. Not sure where the other two went, but I am sure that they are going to be coming back. So how have you been, Carol? And I know, Laura, you have been both on this wonderful healing journey. Both of you have succeeded in so many ways. You want to tell the people about how you did that, or some of the trials and tribulations that you had to come across during that time? Laura, can we start with you? Oh, or Carol, do you want to oh, there's Laura. Yep. Okay, Laura. So tell us kind of what you went through in your awakening.
Oh man, it's been going on for years. I don't know where to start.
So what are some things that maybe you can tell the listeners that on your hard days you did to make it a good day or even a better day, maybe even on an okay day? What are some small things or tips that you could give the listeners out there on their journey?
Well, I can talk about yesterday. Um, I had a really bad dream. It was a nightmare at first, and I woke up and realized it was a nightmare, and I was able to realize that it wasn't all real. But then when I went back to sleep, the dream continued, and it was a message for me, what I needed to work on, and basically is um, it turned out that I tapped into my loneliness, past loneliness, present loneliness, and then I just needed to sit and feel it and let it pass. And when I was able to, I just stayed with it as long as I needed to. And then eventually I realized it was gone and I felt better. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah. So even, in here you took something that seemed really scary, you faced it, you acknowledged it, you took your lessons, and then later on saw it as a blessing. This is the most ultimate healing that anybody can do. I mean, that is pretty much what it is, taking our pain, which would be the nightmares, and of course we're going to be afraid of that and those high emotions. And then analyzing it, you get those lessons in there. And then as we receive those lessons, more times than not, you're going to see that it ended up being a blessing. So yeah, exactly like that. Thank you, Laura. Carol, what do you have to say?
On my journey, here, I'll bring it back up so we can hear better. On my journey, a lot of what I ignored, a lot of the signs that I had, that I even had a gift to share. And then when I did realize it, it was because I was focused on trying to help others, and it was never focused on myself. One of the things that to try to listen to the messages for me didn't make a lot of sense until I learned that if a song pops into my head, if a or lyrics of any sort, I have to interpret those as messages. When it's just random, I'm not listening to a radio or anything. That's how I get many of my messages, is through bits and pieces of songs. And then I just have to share them with whomever they're meant for, because I will keep hearing those words until I do share them.
Perfectly said too. And a lot of you probably are going through that, where you're not using your intuition correctly, or you're healing, you're giving it out to other people and not yourself. That is huge within the healing world. So to take time and to acknowledge how your guides are giving you messages is huge. A lot of them do through songs. So that's pretty cool that you're hearing those lyrics and able to give it to who you need to give those messages to. And that might be the same with some of you guys out there too. Just trust that intuition and speak about it, because that in itself is healing. And more times than not, you're going to get affirmation that you're right. And that just gives you more confidence to continue to give more messages and spread the word. But I think we are going to come to an end here, folks. I do have a meeting that I need to get out to. Just as Sharon and Noah are coming back. Yay.
I thought it was on the other end, but I said I went down to Quinn's area. We have 2 Wi-Fis in the house. So I guess my Wi-Fi upstairs gave up on us. I thought it was Noah glitching, or I didn't know what was going on. But we're back.
Well, we were just telling everybody bye, unless you guys had more messages. I know I have an appointment I need to get ready for. Other than that, I think Noah has something to type. Laura, Carol, you have anything to say? No? Okay. And Noah,
He says he's glad to feel everyone.
good, good. Well, folks, remember, subscribe to our YouTube, come be part of our group on Facebook. Members like Laura who reach out and have questions. Like, we're wanting you. We want you to help us help the world by asking questions. We want you to give your messages or your stories of healing that are going to help other people. The more people that we have and the more people that we can speak with, the more diversity we're going to be and the more answers you're going to get, more clarity you're going to get, and more family you're going to get. So we are also on Instagram, Twitter at Let's Be Now. Check us out. We are going to be working here on a little bit of swag shortly. And then Noah is going to pick, we're going to pick a winner for his channeled reading this week too. So if you want to get in on that, just a few, well, we're doing it tomorrow's Wednesday. Wow. Okay. So it will be tomorrow. So you got to get on our Facebook, Let's Be Now, put 2 people's names on there and tag them who might want to be part of it. Let us know, you know, what you want to know or ask questions, and we'll get you entered into our drawing and we'll do the reading tomorrow. Other than that, guys, keep being you and spread the buzz. Thank you. We love you all. Dance party, dance party, yes. Oh, oh, I love it. I just went to the Journey concert last night, so don't stop believing. Hold on to the feeling. No, street light. I messed it up. Sorry, guys, don't quote me. You know, that was my version, I guess, not Journey's version. So I added my own little words. But anyways, love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.